William Wordsworth, the poet of nature, rightly quotes in his beautiful poem that one impulse from a vernal woods may teach you more of a man, more than 2 centuries before it is relevant forever. It is a fact beyond the time boundary. I do realize it. I do feel time to be accumulative rather than linear. An accumulation of time and space on the consciousness of human being. Now, in the line of evolution of the theory, trans-temporal minimalism. First of all, let's talk about the definition. Trans-temporal minimalism is a contemporary literary philosophical movement that emerges from the exhaustions of linear time, access language, and narrative certainty. It proposes that meaning is not produced through accumulation of words, plots, or explanation, but through compression across time, where past, present, and future coexist within a single moment, image, or silence. Unlike modernism, which fractured time to express crisis, or postmodernism, which dissolved time into irony and play, trans-temporal minimalism treats time as a simultaneous and layered. It seeks not expansion but precision, not completion but resonance. This movement rests on 7 fundamental aspects. But today we talk about only the first, which is very important. And the first one is time is not but accumulative. Second point, human is no longer the center. Third one, objects carry memory better than narratives. Fourth one, silence is a valid semantic unit. No redemption is promised. And the sixth one, fragmentation must feel united. And the last one, language is provisional. Together, these principles reject the idea that meaning progresses forward or resolves neatly. Instead, meaning settles, condenses, and echoes across temporal layers. In this episode, I will focus on the first and central principle, the axis upon which all others turn. Time is not linear but accumulative. Time in trans-temporal minimalism doesn't move forward like an arrow, nor does it return like a cycle. It accumulates. The past doesn't disappear, it remains embedded in the present. The future doesn't wait ahead, it presses inward as anticipation, anxiety, or possibility. Every moment is therefore thick, carrying a residues of what has been and intimations of what will be. A room remembers every footstep. A word carries centuries of use. A body ages not by years passing, but by years settling into it. Linear time suggests progress, causality, and resolutions. Accumulative time suggests weight, density, and presence. In literature, this means a single image can contain multiple eras. A brief line can hold memory, loss, and expectation at once. Narrative chronology becomes unnecessary. What matters is temporal pressure. Trans-temporal minimalism writes from the belief that nothing fully passes. Events don't end. They lodge themselves into matter, language, and silence. This is why the movement favors minimal forms. Because when time accumulates, less language is required. The moment is already full. In the following section, the remaining principles unfold naturally from this understanding of time. Once time ceases to be linear, the human loses centrality. Objects begin to remember. Silence begins to speak, and the language admits its own impermanence. But all of it begins here, with the refusal to believe that time simply moves on. Time is not linear but accumulative. Let's take an example. First of all, we need to be very clear about the meaning of the principle. Time is understood as linear. It is a very common fact, and everyone believes it, like past, present, and future in a single line. This principle challenges that idea. It argues that time doesn't move forward or return backward. Instead, it accumulates like layers or sediments. The past doesn't disappear. The future doesn't wait separately. All moments exist together as a pressure on the present. Trans-temporal minimalism, in which time is not linear but accumulative. We are not trained to think of time as a straight line, past, present, and future. This model assumes the past is gone, the present is a thin moment, the future has not yet arrived. But trans-temporal minimalism rejects this. It proposes that time doesn't pass away. It stays, gathers, and layers itself within matter, memory, space, and consciousness. Time behaves like an arrow. Time doesn't behave like an arrow, but like sediments, dust, or memory layers. How is time accumulative? This is a very argumentative question. Time accumulates in consciousness. Yes, in order to propose my point or to postulate a theory, I have given some fact in defense, and the first point is that time accumulates in consciousness. It is psychological aspect of this theory. When you remember your childhood, you are not visiting the past. The past is active inside the present. A single moment, it may be a smell of rain, song, or a word, can activate multiple times at once. So the present is not pure, it is thick, made of remembered past, felt present, imagined future. Your mind is a container of accumulated time. In defense, point number 2, time accumulates in the body. It explore biological example. Your body is not today's body only. Scars carry old injuries. Muscles remember labor. Trauma lives in posture and breath. Aging is visible time, not past time. The body is a time archive, not a momentary object. Time settles into flesh. Third point, time accumulates in space. It talks about architectural or cultural example. Consider an old house, a temple, a ruined city, a family courtyard. Each contains generation of footsteps, repeated rituals, silence of events, emotional residues. Nothing there belongs to a single moment. Space is time made visible. Point number 4. Time accumulates in object. I'm talking about the materials perspective. A book, a pen, a garment carries use marks, absorbs touch, gathers intention. An object is not present time only. It is a fossil of repeated moment. Objects are condensed time. Point number 5. Time accumulates in language. Words are not fresh. Every word carries history, meaning layers over centuries. A single word echoes past uses. When you write or speak, you activate multiple times at once. Language is temporal sediments. Point number 6. Time accumulates instead of moving forward. Linear time assumes moments replace one another. Accumulative time suggests moment is stacked, not replaced. Like dust settling, paint layers on a wall, geological strata, memory deposits, nothing disappeared. It rests beneath the surface. Visual multi. Now, let's take an example. I'm going to tell you metaphorically, this break represents past, present, and future. These three breaks representing past, present, and future. It may be horizontally linear. But this story talks about layer accumulation. Minimalist insight. Trans-temporal minimalism strips time of motion and spectacle. It says time doesn't rush, time doesn't flee, time doesn't return, time remains. One line definition. Time is not something we move through. It is something that slowly builds within us and around us.
Agreed.
Now, take a natural example of a tree. A tree doesn't start each year. The seed still exists inside the trunk. Every year adds a new ring. Old growth and new growth coexist. The tree contains all its time at once. Time here is not movement but layering. Second example, if we talk about our city, our Banaras, we can see in a city like Banaras ancient temples, colonial buildings, digital screens, all different eras exist simultaneously. The city doesn't leave the past behind, it carries it. The city becomes an archive of accumulated time. Third example, when I smell, place, or sound triggers a childhood memory, the past doesn't return physically. It emerges inside the present. The present moment holds now then together. Memory proves time is stored, not gone. If we relate it with the T.S. Eliot in four quartets, Eliot writes time present and time past are both perhaps present in future. Eliot suggests that time exists all at once. The present moment carries the weight of other times. Time is not a line but a field of coexistence. Philosophical parallel Indian thought. In Indian philosophy, time or kala is cyclical or cumulative. Karma and impression sanskar accumulate. Life is shaped by stored past action. The present is never empty, it is full of past residue. Modern life example, people say I don't have time. Actually, time has not reduced. Too much time has accumulated. Emails, notification, responsibility, blah blah blah, all pile up. Modern anxiety is caused by excess time, not lack of it. Let's talk about the conclusion. Time is not a forward moving line, but an accumulation of experiences, memory, and structure that exert continuous pressure on the present. Accumulated time. Time doesn't walk ahead of us, it settles. Each day leaves a thin residue on the surface of now. We stand inside many moments, not one. The present moment carries the weight of other times. Time is not a line, but a field of coexistence. Philosophical parallel Indian thought. In Indian philosophy, time or kal is cyclical or cumulative. Karma and impression accumulate. Life is shaped by stored past action. The present is never empty. It is full of past residue. Modern life example. People say I don't have time. Actually, time hasn't reduced. Too much time has accumulated. Emails, notification, responsibility all pile up. Modern anxiety is caused by excess time, not lack of it. Let's talk about the conclusion. Time is not forward.